Hello folks and welcome. EndeavourOS Plasma Desktop. So I'm going to be talking about custom icons today. Not everybody's cup of tea. But you can have some fun with your system by changing some things to make them a little bit different. Now if you look in the lower left hand corner, you normally will find the Plasma logo. This time you will notice that I have a stormtrooper there with red eyeballs. It may be hard for you to see, but more importantly, it has the word My Custom Stuff written next to it. And I also have some other icons in that menu that I'm going to talk about today. Having a little bit of fun with the system. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do this and also give you some tips along the way. I'll talk about software formats and more importantly, how to put these little icons in your menu. So instead of having the Plasma logo down here, you have the Stormtrooper is what I'm getting at. Today I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. So instead of using that X in the corner to close down console, I'm going to use Alt F4. You'll see me do a couple of keyboard shortcuts today. Now I'm going to open up Dolphin the file manager and talk about resizing the icons for a second. And you can still do it the old-fashioned way. But I brought in this folder here called icons. It's any folder. You can just rename or put in a folder that's called My Stuff if you like. But I brought in some icons. Some of them are downloaded off the internet. Some of them I made. Some of them I altered. And they look like this. And I'm going to resize them back to that size. Again, you could do it the old-fashioned way. So I downloaded this one specifically off the internet and then I altered it through a piece of software called GIMP. There are plenty of other pieces of software out there. So GIMP you can also create, in addition to editing your photos and resizing photos, you can also edit icons. So I used GIMP on this one. So I started with this with the black eyeballs and progressively added some red in there, as you can see. All right. So I'm going to open up this in Gwenview. Right click, Gwenview. And then I'm going to actually resize this on the fly. Now some of these will be in 128 by 128 and some of them will be larger. I'll show that as I progressively go on with the video. So you can aim for this resizer or you can do it my way. I'm doing the exact same way I'm doing the file manager. I'm holding down my control key and using my USB computer mouse scroll wheel to resize. So as you can see at 283%, it's still fairly decent. As I hit 400, pixelization occurs. So sometimes you want to look at your icons after you download them off the internet or you made them yourself. All right, this is in PNG format and I actually recommend that format. This is currently at 141%. I'll make it back to 100. You can still do it the old-fashioned way. So instead of aiming for the close button, I'm going to use Alt F4. So more importantly, I'll bring in the next icon over here. This one has, I'll use that one. Right click, Gwenview. Now you can see what I was talking about as far as the eyeballs are concerned. Alt F4 on that one. And this one has the extremely red eyes. Alt F4 on that one. Now, these are just icons, folks. Again, I started with something like that and threw in some red eyeballs to have a little fun. They're just icons. Once you start using icons on your system, by the way, I suggest leaving the folder where you left it as soon as you use your first icon in your system. Does it need to be here? No. But more importantly, wherever you place and whatever name you gave that, when you start using the icon in your system, then leave the folder in its place. Okay, so it has a path to go back to. It's just my recommendation. And you can, of course, resize this on the fly or do it the old-fashioned way. Alt F4 to close this one. All right, so they're just icons. So let's talk about the customization stuff down here. So the application launcher icon is normally this way. I'm going to right click on this icon and hit configure launcher. I'm going to change this back to the default icon and eliminate the text by hitting Control X. And then I'm going to hit apply. This is normally what you see down here in the lower left hand corner for your icon and text, which is none. It just says application launcher on it. So I'm going to click back in here and paste my text back in. And then I'm going to change this icon to choose. So you can choose stuff from the system also. instead of your custom icons. So if I want that silly alligator, for instance, I'll just do it this way and hit apply, and I'm done. All right, however, what I'm going to do is click that again and hit choose, and this time I'm going to hit browse. And I'm going to go and find my icon folder. So I can go to my home folder. I'll resize this the same way I did the file manager. Again, I'm holding down the control key and using my USB-based computer mouse scroll wheel. And I'm going to open this up. Now I have the behavior set for double click on the system currently, not single click. So I need to double click to open that folder. But more importantly, I'm going to leave that resized this way, or I can blow these back up very large, or go the other way. Okay. All right, so you can see the filter formats. So again, I do recommend PNG formats. Which one do I want to use? I'll use this one. I think I used that one on previous pass. They're roughly the same, except this one has more red than that does. And then I'm going to hit apply. And that may be hard for you to see, and again, I'm filming in 1080. That actually glows a little bit. The eyeballs actually become brighter as I point at it with my mouse. That's just an action of this particular KDE Plasma, or Plasma desktop. Okay? It's not really the action of the mouse. I'm sorry, not the mouse, the icon itself. It's more of a Plasma action. Okay? I'm done. It's that simple. It took me longer to explain this. Now let me get into the icons that are here that I also altered. The development, education, games, and graphics and internet icons I all altered. I'll show you what the originals look like. I didn't particularly care for this original icon for education. Now there's a couple of rules when you're doing changes in here. So let me talk about that. First of all, I'm going to right click on the application launcher icon, in this case the Stormtrooper, and hit edit applications. It opens up the KDE menu editor. These are important little rules that you may need to understand. First of all, you have categories and subcategories. You need at least one or more application installed on the system for it to be viewed in that menu. Just because you can see science and math here does not mean you can see it in here. There is no science and math in here if you look. Even if I altered the icon, you still won't see this because it doesn't have an application that's listed in the science and math category. Let me show you the games icon, or actually let's start at the top. We can do development first, and then I'll walk down the list. But when I get into this area, you'll see some extra icons you normally don't see. All right, I'm going to pick on this one. This one has more than one application installed. You can see it right here. These are the applications. So that means that that icon will be displayed whatever you have. So what does the original icon look like? So I click the icon, not the tree, but the main icon, and I'm going to right click and just copy the word because I don't want to type for it. And I want to click in here, and I want to right click and hit the paste. I could hand type this in also. That is what that normally looks like. A hammer. Okay? So that's what that icon normally looks like. Save, close, reopen. That's my method of doing that. I alter the icon, I close and reopen. Okay? So what I'm going to do here again, right click, edit, KDE menu editor, development, icon, pick something from the system or browse. Okay? Since I'm already in, am I in the icons folder? No, I'm not. So I'm going to open this back up. So we're doing development. What can I pick? Well, I can pick anything in here. I can also resize the icons on the fly. I can even use silly stuff like that. Even though it says weather, it's just an icon. It's just an icon. That's not too bad. I'm going to leave it. So let's step to the next category called education. I'm going to show you what the original icon looks like. Again, right click on that, edit, and education icon looks like this. So I'm going to first highlight the word and copy it because I don't want to type anything in here, and paste and search for it. That's what that looks like, believe it or not. That's the official icon that I found when I installed the system. I particularly didn't care for that. I believe it's a chalkboard. So you can see sometimes the benefit of altering some of these icons, or maybe not. And again, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So again, I don't want to choose anything from the system. I'm going to bring my own icons. And what do I want to choose? I'm going to use that one. It's a nice, cool looking thing. I can also right click and open this in Gwenview and take a look at that. That one is a 233 by 256, an oddball as one would call it. I'm going to increase the size from 100% to 400%. And it's very large. Now that's at 141% and it's still decent looking. It is a 3D icon. But more importantly, it's in a PNG format. Okay? So I can either use the close button or Alt F4, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to choose that icon nonetheless. Now it's selected and I'm going to hit save and close and reopen. So that's what that one looks like. Now I'm going to step to the games category. To have this one change properly, you need to install one or more games. I only have the one card game which I installed through Terminal. It's that card game there. It's a fairly popular one, actually. Right click, edit, applications. Now I want you to notice that it has a lot of subcategories in here. Only one has an arrow. That's the card game one. But I'm going to change this icon, not these. So what does the original icon look like? Copy that, click, paste, all. That's what that icon looks like. Save, close, reopen. That's the original icon. It looks like a game controller. Okay, it's not too bad looking though. But I wanted to just demo the change for you. So I'm going to click that, hit browse, go to my own icons folder and pick something. I just happened to pick Darth Vader. Now if I'm way down here at the bottom, I'm going to hit D and it starts going all the way down to the D's. So I'm going to use that one. Again, I can also open this and let's go look at this in Gwenview. It's a 128 by 128. And as I make this larger, you can see it's getting a little pixelated now, even at 200%. At 400, it's breaking apart almost. And then at 1600, it's totally broken apart. I'm going to resize that on the fly. Or you can use it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to use Alt F4 this time to close that box. Just being lazy. 22 kilobytes, PNG format, open. It's already changed the icon. Make sure you hit save. And then close and reopen. I like to do it that way, just so I know everything works. Sometimes you can do multiple changes and sometimes it acts kind of weird, at least in my book. But you can do it however you want to do it, all in one shot or one at a time. Now the graphics icon, let's see what that one looks like. And you will find that that also looks different. So the graphics icon is displayed because it has more than one application installed. So let's grab a hold of that text and copy that and go look for that keyword under all. And I believe it's this one right here. And I didn't really care for that icon at all. So that was one of the reasons that I altered it. I can't even tell what that, it looks like a teardrop. But, you know, again, I could look at it, but more importantly, I just wanted to make the change. Again, it's just me. It's just me. Okay? So I could also use any of the other icons, including the orange if I wanted to. You know, for that icon. But I got something else in mind. So graphics, icon, browse, double click, graphics. What do we want to use? I think I used that one the last time. I kind of like that one. So this one here is done in 128 by 128. It's a very sharp icon too. Let me blow this up at 200%. You can still see it's fairly sharp. And even at 400%, it's barely breaking up. But in either case, it's one of those kind of icons. There are some different icons in here that are in different sizes. That one is in 128. And I don't know what FileMan, what size that one is. One's the same size. Standard Firefox old style icon is in 256 by 256. I also use that one for my non-standard Firefox icon. I kind of like that one. Even at 200% it looks nice. Alt F4. Okay, we're going to go back to what am I dealing with? I got off on a tangent. Graphics. So what do I want to use for a graphics icon? That one looks good enough. Save and close. So I have one more left to show you. It's internet, just to give this a complete exercise. And the internet icon looks like this. That's the web browser part, and it actually looks the same as the standard icon, I believe, or almost the same. I believe these are two identical ones. But this is the standard one. It's called Application Internet on it. This is the official icon. And again, that's what that looks like. And that's not too bad. But since I'm going to stick with the R2D2 theme or Star Wars theme, I'm going to throw in R2D2. I knew I could say that word. So I'm going to go to my own folder, icons, and I'm going to type in R. There's R2D2. What does he look like? Gwenview time. That's at 100%. That's at 200. It's not too bad, but there's a lot of detailing in here. Okay. Alt F4 to close. And more importantly, click on it and use it. And save and close. So you can change these icons yourself. You can see how easy it is to do this. All right. And again, if you're switching themes, going from a light to a dark, I'll go to global for a second and use a light theme to give you the examples. Sometimes when you pick icons, maybe they're kind of subdued, like that one is kind of blending out the bottom half of it. So it would probably work well in a dark environment, but not so much in a light environment. Now this education icon with the 3D cube works in both, at least in my book. I think it looks well. The Darth Vader, it looks better in the dark. The graphics icon, the one I picked, kind of looks okay in both. This one is kind of small, but again, it's something that I chose to go with that theme. I'll pick this theme next. So as you can see, it's still holding these icons. Whatever you do, if you're starting to use icons and you want to leave these, leave that folder where it's at. Don't rename it, don't move it. If you change your icons back to default, that's a different animal. But I'm just saying, that's my recommendation. That's my recommendation. Okay, so once you start using one or more icons, Alt F4 to close. And on that note, folks, thank you for watching. And you have a wonderful day.